In this video, I'm going to show you 5 easy ways to up your painting for free. Coming up after this. How's it going on, guys and girls? Welcome back to Burnt Acrylic Painting. My name is Graham and welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 different things that you can do at home for free to improve your painting skills. But first, if you do like the channel and you've seen my videos before and you like what I'm doing, consider hitting that subscribe and like button, guys. It helps the channel out loads and then you don't miss out on any of my future content. Back to the video. So the other day I was painting and I thought to myself on how much I'd progressed over when I first started back in the hobby a couple of years ago to now. And I thought to myself, what things have I done that has helped me improve my painting? I realized that there's a selection of things that I did for my painting that improved my painting vastly and that were completely free. So let's get into it. 5 things that you can do to up your painting for free. So this one may sound a little bit weird. Slow down. But what does that actually mean? If you're like me, you don't actually have that much time to sit down and paint. You might have a full-time job, you might have kids, you might look after someone. The list is endless. So when you do sit down and paint, you might have a goal that you want to reach by the end of the session, or you just want to get as much done in the time that you have. And that's completely fine. But if you're like me and you want to improve your painting every time you sit down at the table, speeding through the things that you have on your hobby desk isn't going to help that much. So the one thing we can do is slow down. This really helps you have the time to think about what you're doing, where you're putting the brush strokes, and in turn be more precise with your painting. So just by slowing down in no time at all, you will see that improvement happen already. Will you paint as many minis? Most likely not, but the quality of the minis you do paint will be better. This is something I never really gave much thought on, but the second tip is to plan your paint schemes. What paints are you going to use? Why are you going to use them? What complements and what contrasts? Just these simple questions can help your painting and your minis look better when they're finished and on the tabletop. Take my death guard for instance. I wanted that vivid green as bright as possible so it pops on the tabletop. You can tell as soon as you see it what it is. So the main bulk, my primary color of my color scheme is my green. The secondary color I would say on my death guard is probably the bronze for all the trim. That is the second largest amount of color on my death guard. The third or the tertiary color that I have is the purple for all the flesh and the growths. On most of the models there's not as much, that's why I'd say this is the tertiary color. But I wanted my tertiary color to be a contrast to my primary color so it pops even more. If you need help with finding different contrasting colors and different harmonious colors, you can get a simple color wheel on Google Images. If I need a hand with it or some reference, that's where I go. Just Google Images, type in color wheel, and there's loads of different ones that pop up. For you guys that might not know what I'm on about with harmonious and contrasting colors. Harmonious colors are the colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. And a contrasting color is 2 colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel. So planning your paint scheme can really help up the quality of your painting without much effort. This one is one of my favorites, but also one of the hardest, I think, to do. In every project that you paint, do something that pushes you, do something that you haven't done before. I think it's one of the hardest because we all can hit that bit where we get to a level of painting skill that we're comfortable with and we like what we're producing. So we stop pushing ourselves. But it's also one of my favorite because when we do push ourselves, when we do try that new technique and we nail it and get it right, or eventually it just clicks, that feeling is it's good. It's good. It's like trying OSL for the first time or non-metallic metals. It doesn't necessarily need to be a new technique. It could be a new paint system. It could be trying an airbrush for the first time. You're always a bit scared before you give it a go. I know I am. Trying these new things and pushing ourselves to do new things helps us have more tools in our metaphorical tool shed. The more skills we have, the more things that we are able to do as painters, the better quality painting we will be able to do. And that ties into my next point. Accept that you're gonna make mistakes, but learn from them. A lot of our painting is very personal, therefore it's a lot of choices that we're making ourselves. And those choices don't always come together the way we want it, or techniques that we know as painters might not necessarily accomplish the outlook you're looking for. And sometimes it just goes wrong. These all can be classed as mistakes, and it's so easy to class them as that. That's not how I envisioned it in my head, therefore it's wrong. And I'm guilty of it as well. But if we look at those mistakes and think, okay, I know what I want to do, I know that that didn't work, or I know what I wanted to do, I know that that will work if I do it this way instead of that way. It goes from being a mistake to a lesson. And being conscious of those actions and that thought process helps us to improve as painters. This is a brilliant tip for if you're ever hitting a plateau in your painting. At the end of the day, some ideas go wrong or just don't work. But if you didn't try, you wouldn't know. Or you've just learned how to do it right next time. So this is an interesting one, and something I'm guilty of quite often. Don't discard older or easier painting techniques because you can do better ones. Sometimes an older, easier technique you learned years ago can give you the same results as a long-winded, more complicated technique that you've learned recently. So don't discard them. All painting is implementing different techniques that we've learned along the way in different ways on different miniatures. And that goes from painting miniatures to painting a canvas. The theory goes, the more techniques that we've mastered and have under our belt, the better quality piece that we can produce in the end. So if you've mastered layering techniques and glazing, you're going to produce a better finish than dry brushing. You're not going to be layering and glazing up a simple base for 30 orc boys. That would be insane. My point here is that, like I said earlier, all techniques are tools, and you want to keep your tools sharp. Just because it was a simpler technique that you learned years ago, it doesn't mean it doesn't have room in your toolbox. So many metaphors. And of course, because it's a list video and I like giving a little bit extra, my bonus tip is practice. It's something I struggle with to this day, like I said in my first point. Sometimes our lives are crowded and we don't have time for ourselves. This is our hobby. It's meant to be relaxed and enjoyed. Sometimes you just want to crash at the end of the day and you don't want to be painting. But if you want to get better, practice. Pick up that paintbrush, even if it's just for 15-20 minutes after dinner. The more you do something, the better you will get. And that is the basic principle of if you put 10,000 hours into something, you can master it. The more time and effort you put into our hobby, the more time and effort you put into painting, you will improve because you're doing it more. So guys and girls, that is my list of 5 things that you can do to improve your painting for free. All 5 of these things are things that I do or try to at least implement in my painting every day. And I guarantee if you put some of these into yours, you will see noticeable difference. It might be a little, it might be a lot, but there will be a difference there. I hope you enjoy your painting, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys and girls. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end. And if you want to support Burnt Acrylic Painting, you can. The best way to do it is on my Patreon. I won't give you the spiel, you've seen it all on other YouTube channels, but there's 2 tiers, and I just want to say thank you to my patrons. Bez Alcatraz, Curtis Spencer, and Barry Young. You guys are awesome, thank you. And if you want to join them on my Patreon, link down below. But if that's not for you, remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more from me at Burnt Acrylic Painting. And until next time, peace!